Welcome and thank you for checking out my review of Peninsula, the follow-up to 2016's Train to Busan. This film brings back all the creative team, director, and screenwriters, but none of the same characters or actors. It is a film set in the same world, but not entirely directly connected to the original. Let's talk about it. The film takes place 4 years after the zombie outbreak of the first film, and we follow a soldier who has managed to escape overseas and is given a mission to go back and unexpectedly meets survivors. I actually have a review for the first one on my channel. You can go check it out and I'll leave a link for it at the end of this video. I was a huge fan. As someone who has been tired of the zombie subgenre for quite a while, that was a very refreshing and extremely compelling surprise that stood out from the pack. So going into Peninsula, I was extremely excited. There was a part of me that was very hesitant and fearful, but knowing the degree of separation that there is between these two stories and knowing that the creative team is going to come back gave me a boost of confidence. And I had a great time watching this film. The action continues to be visceral. It leaves you white-knuckled. It gives you cold sweats. It is so well shot throughout. And the film takes care to make you feel for the characters that are going to be put in the place of danger in this film. It doesn't just throw action at you for the sake of it. This film invests in its characters, and then it pays off by putting them in danger. I also love the world building in this film. This world feels dirty. It's rough. It is very lived in. You can feel throughout, not only in the visuals, but also in the performances, how these people have gone through so much. Their lives aren't just starting in the beginning of this film and ending at the end of the film. They have been through so much, and you feel the continuation of their lives, just not necessarily the story that we need to accompany them in. This is also very much not a straight up horror film like the first one. This is much more an action thriller, and given the degree of separation that this film has with its predecessor, it does fit. It feels like a different world. These characters that we follow have a different mentality. They're used to this. They're used to the world and how far it has fallen. They live in the slumps. They don't have a good life, so they find themselves in the position where they can go to this abandoned city and get this bag full of cash and maybe get a better life for all of them. So it feels like a reasonable motivation for our characters. It's not something that makes them necessarily greedy or selfish or egotistical. It's just that at this point in their lives, they live with almost nothing. Every day is a fight. So it's looking for a light at the end of the tunnel, and that bag full of money on that very dangerous island is that light for them. And you feel the desperation in these characters because they're not necessarily happy about having to do this, it's just that it feels worth it for them. And the performances all around are really good as well. But out of all the things that worked in this film, the standout for me was the cinematography. This film looks amazing. There are a lot of sequences that are set at night, and they know exactly how to shoot it to make you feel comfortable in watching it, even though it's very dark and it is night, but they make sure you know that danger is just lurking around. Not only in the way they shoot the most suspenseful sequences, where you have these characters walking around in a basically abandoned city, but also the moments where you have great adrenaline-fueled action. You can see clearly what is going on. You can understand everything at all times. As far as issues are concerned, I say the main story isn't as compelling as the first. It's fine, it is functional, and you like the characters enough to root for them. For me, the story that really worked was the B storyline. Is usually in films you have an A storyline, you have a B storyline, and they converge, and that happens in this film. I just much prefer the B storyline. There's this character who the main soldier runs into eventually, and I don't want to get into her much because I don't want to spoil anything, but she was easily the best character in this film for me, the most compelling one, and the B storyline was much more compelling than the A storyline throughout this entire film. There's also this sort of cage fighting thing in the film that didn't really work for me. It felt like the idea was half-baked. They had some interesting ideas in it, but they didn't go at it full throttle. So it just felt like they were doing that to fill the time. There is a car chase scene in this film that is freaking awesome. You have tons of cars going on the street and there's zombies coming everywhere, and you see these people trying to use the zombies to get to one another, as well as all sorts of weapons and guns and whatever. But it's a chase scene like I've never seen it before. It runs just a little too long. At one point you can feel, okay, we can be done with this, but as soon as you feel that, it kind of ends. So it is an issue, but it's a very small one. And without getting into spoilers, I really like the ending of this film. The climatic sequence on the third act is beautiful. It's meaningful, but there is one little tweak that I would have done to it. I can't tell you what it is because I don't want to get into spoilers, but if you've seen the movie, talk to me in the comments. I'll let you know there. There's just something that they do with one character specifically that I felt they should have done it the other way, and the arc of that character would have been much more meaningful. Peninsula is not on the level of Train to Busan, but I think that would be unfair to expect or want any follow-up or sequel or whatever movie to be. It's a solid entry into this universe, let's call it that, and it's a great companion piece to see how the world has evolved from the first one. It feels like a fully fleshed out world with fully fleshed out characters. There aren't as many compelling characters all around, but nonetheless a fun 2-hour zombie action thriller. I'm giving Peninsula a B. Now, what did you think of Peninsula, my beautiful geekies? And go to my review of Train to Busan and let me know what you think about that one. Thank you so much for watching. You are the best. Stay tuned this week for reviews for Interstellar and many others. I hope to see you there. And so until the next video, don't forget to stay beautiful, stay geeky, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video because it really helps me and the channel out. But most importantly, above everything else, forever and always, love each other and love the movies.